Kylie Miller nearly became a casualty of a battle that most Australians will never have to fight.
I grew up around a lot of domestic violence, drugs, alcohol. Like I said before, moving around a lot, no stability. Become a teenager, didn't have, goals, priorities, wasn't looking for work. I chose to drink and that at one time.
Just getting by was the challenge. Dreams of a job, getting an education, buying a home were too distant to even think about. Kylie didn't come from a camp in some remote part of Australia. She lives in Sydney.
If you look at levels of disadvantage of Aboriginal communities, some of the areas west of Blacktown, for example, have levels of disadvantage that are as acute as any community in Western Australia or the Northern Territory. That's not because there aren't services there, it's because there's no proper engagement between those services and Aboriginal communities. So from a government's point of view, we haven't done it anywhere near as well as we should have.
Across the country, Aboriginal numeracy and literacy rates are static, and we continue to face greater levels of poverty, poorer housing and worse employment prospects. Despite the best intentions, the system is failing, and stretched government services that haven't worked for 200 years will fail another generation. But now a new solution is taking shape. A new future born of one of our most traditional beliefs. Gandangara has a vision to break the cycle, close the gap, and help people like Kylie achieve a better future.
Our vision is to move our people in short, quick steps, but with no delay from our position of welfare dependency to wealth creation. Now, I'm talking about areas of wealth creation that match mainstream Australia. I'm talking about home ownership and the equivalent.
For more than 40,000 years, Aboriginal people have had a special relationship with the land. It was more than just our home. It provided for us, and we were its custodians. Now the land is once again tied to our future. We will take control of our destiny, build independence from government welfare, and create a sustainable tomorrow by taking control of what we have today. Our education programs help prepare our children for the demands of school, and we give extra help to the kids who need it.
That's where it starts, and you don't want the Aboriginal children slipping through the education system, because that's where they start. It might be, learning to write the name, learning to say the alphabet and trace letters and stuff. That's where it all starts.
Gandangara's employment services help find real jobs and provide real training.
Getting older people to teach these young fellas, because get them off the drugs, out of the street, off alcohol, and and it gets to respect their parents, and also, it's, they're actually coming out doing a bit of work, instead of sitting around on their asses, on the dollar.
Gandangara has long-term plans for a major medical centre run by Aboriginal people, for Aboriginal people, to bridge the health gap. And everyone needs a home to call their own. Patronising cheap rent deals that don't support independence are not the Gandangara way. We work with people like Kylie who are prepared to make the difference to improve their lives, to help them use their rent as a deposit on their own home.
I'm not glad I went through it all, but it's made me the person I am, and I'm still young, and I'm glad I have. It is my past, and I've overcome all that, and I've only got the future to look forward to, and got a job, got a home, my kids are healthy, we're happy, and yeah.
And our vision isn't just a dream. At Gandangara we have the resources to make it a reality. We are the biggest private landowner in southwest Sydney, with holdings of about 2,000 hectares. That's equivalent of a block that stretches from the Opera House to Rosebery, Erskineville and Kensington. In a city where land and housing shortages are already a massive issue, we have the opportunity to help ease the pressure for the next 30 years. Our plan is to develop housing blocks, commercial hubs and retail centres that are much more than old-style slash and burn estates. As the traditional custodians of the land, we will ensure that our projects are environmentally and culturally sensitive. We will give the people of Sydney one of the largest conservation parks in the region, and we will fund its maintenance and protection. We'll also pay to clean up the massive swathes of land that, after decades of government neglect, have become one of the city's largest illegal dumps. A pit of private and commercial waste containing everything from tyres to asbestos.
Even though we have this pristine beauty that we've already seen, this area here is part of our conservation park. So all of this has to be cleaned up, removed, bush regeneration teams coming in, and once we've got it the way it needs to be, then maintained forever.
At Gandangara, we're not about buildings, we're about building communities. Well-planned, well-managed and well-delivered development where parks, playground and bushland reserves will be our signature. And all on Sydney's doorstep. Through sales and commercial leasing, it's estimated our land holdings will return more than $1 billion to Gandangara. Money that will help us create genuine generational change. It'll pay for our plans to teach our kids, build healthy communities and create jobs. Our developments will give us the funds to make it all a reality.
I'm used to dealing with large corporations, listed property trusts and some of Australia's largest developers. Gandangara are an inspiration to them in their own right, and I think the key difference is their emphasis on land management and conservation. This is our first Aboriginal Land Council we've dealt with, and their corporate governance is terrific. They have a CEO in place who gives great direction, makes decisions, knows when to invite help in when needed, and takes advice well.
We are already building partnerships in both the private and public sectors, building the links that will ensure better futures and the chance to move away from welfare models. The more we can forge links with private business and government, the faster we will achieve this vision and develop the blueprint for other Aboriginal land councils.
With Gandangara and Woolworths, we really are committed to make it work and to learn from the mistakes, to encourage those young people who have the motivation, and in fact anyone who wants to, that there is opportunity and there is career progression within our organisation.
Kylie's mum never had the chance to put a stable roof over her daughter's head, but thanks to Gandangara and her efforts, Kylie can provide that stability for her children, giving them the same opportunity as most other kids. At Gandangara, we are committed to real change, genuine change. Our conservation-based developments mark a turning point, an opportunity for new beginning, a chance to make a real difference for generations to come. No longer will a lack of funding hold us back. No longer will opportunity be something someone else offers us. No longer will we be reliant on government handouts. The Gandangara vision is for future generations to get the help they need to do well at school, to grow up healthy and free from serious illness and disease, to get help to do more study or get a good job, and one day having the independence to own a home in which to raise their own children, respecting culture and country, and start a new cycle.
In our lives, we've tasted and touched hopelessness. It's been part of all our lives. Now, there are no boundaries, there's no horizons. Our achievements are limited only by our imagination.